All right, welcome to our second episode of Pointy Hat to Go, or Pointy Hat Cast episode 9.5. We are doing Isaiah's take on End of Evangelion with zero context. That's right. As requested.
Have not seen any of the series.
Yes, no series seen
No
beforehand,
background
no
knowledge.
movie seen beforehand. He has only seen End of Evangelion, as requested by a podcast listener, Fink. So if you got any requests, comments, questions, you want to tell us how awesome we are, you can send your emails to pointyhatcast@gmail.com. Also, if you want to tell us that The Last Jedi is a terrible movie, you can at Barry. Again,
Those
at Pointy.
submissions will also be accepted.
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead, at me all you want.
All right, well, let's get started. I'm your host, Sam, also known as Ducky O'Brien on Twitch. We're joined by our other hosts, Barry.
Hello.
And also Isaiah, still in the land of the weebs.
What's up?
Okay, let's get this started. These are more casual episodes, so screw it.
Yeah,
Let's get
we'll
into
do it live.
Do it live. You'll do it live.
Okay, Isaiah. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to this all week.
Me too.
Okay,
Alright.
okay.
Hit us with your thoughts. What you thought of them? What you thought of End of Evangelion, and what you thought it was about?
So, I started watching this movie, and in the first 5 minutes, I'm like, did this boy just jerk over this unconscious girl's body?
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
wow, what a scumbag, dude. And I was like, what the hell is this movie, man? What am I watching? That was pretty much my continual thought process for the entire film, because it just kept getting more and more wild.
Yeah, that was just the beginning. That was just the
That was just the
appetizer.
beginning.
Did you count the vaginas? There were a lot of them.
I noticed.
It's a fun drinking game.
Man, I was so confused by this concept of like, wait, so the Japanese people are invading this military facility that's not a military facility that somehow has mecha pilots? So they have a bunch of diva pilots in there?
Yeah, they have a lot of divas.
Yeah, a lot of
All I was
divas.
thinking of was, wow, all of these diva pilots, man.
Yeah.
These mecha pilots, are they protecting Busan? But instead it's Japan?
It's Neo Tokyo.
Yes. La Kyoto.
La Kyoto, yeah.
Yeah, the whole time it's just like they're getting shot at, and you kind of understand why they're getting shot at, but at the same time you don't. And there's like these random cutscenes to a bunch of like brick people, you know, with with the numbers for faces.
Yeah.
They're like, we must do what needs to be done. And it's like, I have no idea what the hell that means, you know? What
Okay.
needs to be done?
Like the monoliths, the black monolith people. Okay.
Yeah, the monolith people, like, what are they? And then, well, the third act is just a huge clusterfuck. Like, what is going on? How am I supposed to understand with zero context what the hell is going on? They're just like, oh, what, Shinji? Was that his name? Shinji?
Shinji, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
That's the protagonist.
the protagonist is going to decide our fate. And I was like, wait, what? They're leaving the hands of humanity to this little bitch?
He just jerked off over this girl, and he's
Who is
controlling the
this
fate.
boy?
Clearly, he's not the right
The
choice.
other girl woke up from a coma and just killed, like, what was it, 7 or so Evas? She's a badass, dude. But who is this random Shinji character that can't do nothing for himself and constantly needs to be carried everywhere? Like, literally dragged forward. Oh my.
He's the
And
bad
suddenly they're
DPS
like-
main, you know?
They're like, okay, he's going to be our savior. He's going to save humanity. And then Shinji's like, lol, nope. I'm gonna kill all of you because you're all jerks to me. And so everyone turns into goo.
Everyone turns
Somehow-
into Koolaid, yeah.
Where the Koolaid man comes and, you know, they all become one. Kumbaya. And then Shinji's like, wait, lol, I still want to be with a girl, and he's like, I regret everything. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll bring her back. And then they wake up on the beach, and he's like, oh, actually, I'm a killer. And then he doesn't. End of story. And I was like, what was this movie? And then I was looking up like reviews and like different synopsises of the film, and all of them were like, wow, this film was amazing, truly a masterpiece. Just the subtle themes and the neo-Christian values fused with the like dystopian world. I was like, what in the hell are these people smoking, man? Like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, this is like After Earth, but much, much worse. This is
okay.
This is like
it's fighting words.
I think, okay, to be fair, I think if I had seen all the previous anime, watched all the TV shows, the previous movies, if I understood the context very well, maybe even read like the manga. There's probably a manga, right? Then I think
yeah.
Then I think I would have enjoyed it, but
really
because there wasn't, I was just like, I have no idea what the hell's going on. I'm supposed to feel sympathetic, I guess, for this Shinji character, but he's a dick, so I hate him and I want him to die.
No, I hate him too, so it's okay.
And I was like, yeah, I don't understand, man. Like, I understood enough, but that didn't make me like it. And I was just, in the end, kind of like, man, Shinji needs to die. Shinji should have just sacrificed himself, man.
That's his character. I really like your view on this, because I've always argued with people that this movie is completely worthless without context. And they always come back at me like, no, but all of the symbolism and, you know, the incredible artistry of all the characters on the screen. You're like,
bro,
no,
that
that's
don't mean jack if I don't understand.
Nothing's gonna make literally 0% of this movie will make sense without the context. So that said, like, in a nutshell, what did you think?
I thought it was a wonderfully, beautifully crafted movie. Especially the epileptic 5-minute scene of him switching through, like, but all humans are one, and we all share the same consciousness, and we're all the same people. I thought that was kind of funny.
Drank the Koolaid.
Yeah.
Yes, drank a little too much of that Kool-Aid.
Way too much Kool-Aid.
They turned everyone into Kool-Aid. That's how much they were drinking.
You are what you eat.
But yeah, I agree. I think it's a visually stunning movie. And the fight scenes with the mechas, you know, with the diva characters, are pretty amazing. Like, it's pretty awesome. But then the third act just falls apart for me, where it's like the end of the world, and I really have no idea what's going on. And I feel like maybe 20% also got lost in translation between the Japanese and the subtitles. Because some of the sentences and, like, what they're speaking about, I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
Oh, you watched the subtitle version? Okay.
Yeah. Not the dub.
Who watches the dub? Come on.
Yeah,
the dub is actually pretty good for this one.
No,
really,
no dub is good.
It's not like amazing, but it's good. There has been a lot of criticism for it.
Yeah.
Because a little bit of a trivia fact, but a lot of the production staff are also VAs in the dub.
Oh, okay.
Ray Ayanami's VA in particular.
She's very lifeless, though, right? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. She's gotten lots of flack about that, but she's also, I think, one of the directors of the dub.
Huh.
So
they actually kept it very true to the original nature of what it was.
For the most part, they work pretty closely with the original studio Gainax to get the translation on the ball.
Oh, okay. I was just joking about the dub, by the way. I mean, I think the Dragon Ball Z dub
is usually worse.
Yeah. It's because you're watching it in the original language. I don't care about that. It's more like the people who dubbed it at the time didn't really care. Like, voice acting wasn't up to par as it was in Japan, where, like, they take it seriously. But now I feel like the American voice actors are top notch.
Well, the production staff cared quite a bit. Whether or not the talent is there, is a different question. But
gotcha.
It just reminds me of Pokemon, where all
of
the
Pokemon dub.
Yeah, where the production staff are like, I can voice Bulbasaur.
Whatever.
I'll be Bulbasaur. Bulba.
I'll be Pikachu.
Wait, how many episodes is this in? Oh no.
Yeah, 1 million.
Oh god, there's
episode
3,000 episodes.
It's like they're like, Bulbasaur, can you do another take?
Bones Wild-eyed.
Bulbasaur, can you do another take? Like 5
He's
hours.
like, bro, I literally say the same line in 3,000 episodes. What do you mean?
It's like, I want you to put more emotion in it. Like, what
Can you just pull the audio from episode like 10?
Yeah.
And just loop it?
They're like, no, we need it to be real, visceral. We need your feelings injected into each Bulbasaur.
It's like Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah.
They actually had all of his lines written out in Groot and in real speech.
Really?
So there was context for all of it.
And also, Vin Diesel voiced Groot in multiple languages too. So,
really?
like in Korean, he's like, "Nanan Groot."
and he did all the voice. He did all the studio work, all the voicing on stilts. He would show up to the studio on stilts.
Wait,
so he could feel the character.
Oh wow, okay.
Right?
Method acting.
Wow, I respect that.
I actually respect that. But it's just like, damn.
If I had a character that speaks one sentence, I would do the other languages too. Why not? Why not?
Hell
right?
Yeah. Hell
You get like 8 times the pay, you know? There's 8 languages, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can do the same take like 50 times. It's only been like 2 minutes, right? Because it's just like, I am Groot. Try it again. I am Groot. Try it again. I am Groot. Okay.
That one worked.
That's the one.
That's it.
All right.
One more for safety. Oh man. All right. Anyway, back to the topic. All right. I'm actually really happy to hear your thoughts on this, but I'm gonna hit you with 2 levels of context and see if it changes your opinion. First context is just the context of the series. The story of the series is that like these aliens called angels are attacking. They're trying to get to the nerve, which is the command center that's getting attacked in this movie. Get to the basement where like kind of their god being or whatever is kind of locked in the basement, right? And,
always in the basement.
Which is that like Adam,
the big glowing chick,
the white squishy monster.
Yeah, the big clay man that's crucified in the basement. That's what they're trying to get to. There's like a lot. There's a lot of mythos. There's a lot of fucking lore in this goddamn series. But I'm not going to go into all of it because it would take all day. That's the general premise. Humanity creates the Evas to fight them off. Shinji becomes a pilot. Rei is one of the original pilots. Asuka's a pilot, and they have like this little class of kids, teenagers that they're trying to draw pilots from to limited success. How
do they get picked to be pilots? Like, what is the screening process, or how do they decide? Like, oh, you're a pilot now.
Well,
Diva mains.
Yeah, they're all Diva mains.
Eugene?
They're all
Eugene.
Yeah, they're screened and pre-selected. They don't deeply explain the process. The way that the main pilots get selected is that the living souls of their dead mothers are inside of each of their Evas. That's how they're able to pilot them, and that's kind of explained over the course of the series.
That's not freaky at all.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's a lot of
stuff. That's why they call them mother.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the context for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Their mothers were originally test pilots, and they died testing them, and then their souls are like inside of the.
Their souls are trapped inside.
Yeah, they're kind of they're in there.
They turned to Koolaid too. Apparently.
Yeah, they also got Koolaided.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So the reason they build these mechas is they have like the AT field, which I'm sure you saw a little bit of in the movie.
Yeah,
which is basically S.H.I.E.L.D.
Which doesn't explain anything. It's just like
it's like defense matrix.
I don't know what this AT shield blocks or what it does. It's just there.
Yeah, the idea behind the AT field is it's a field that that's powered by your soul, basically. The angels have it, and humanity also has it, but humanity manifests it as our physical form. So instead of making a force field, we're just making ourselves with our AT field, our physical form. That's why everybody, that's why everybody turns to Koolaid, because when you turn off the AT field, we just all lose our physical form, become goo. Is the idea.
Okay.
Makes sense. Makes sense to me. Right.
Yeah. So that's like the core conceit.
Mm-hmm.
So does the movie then make slightly more sense?
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily make it a much better movie to me.
No, I'm just trying to explain it. Like the relationship between Shinji and like the girls is like kind of a main narrative thrust throughout.
Yeah,
the series.
I don't fucking understand the relationship. It just sounds like he's.
I mean, it's teenage coming of age, like sexual tension stuff. He has a thing for Asuka. Ray is.
Doesn't he have a thing for every girl?
Yeah, he's fucking 15 or whatever. You know, you're gonna be lusting after everything with 2 boobs.
I would say maybe even 1 boob. You know,
even 1 boob. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, and then Ray is a child clone of his dead mom. And she's the 4th one after the first 3 have died.
The 4th attempted clone of his mom.
No, I mean they've been successful. They just keep getting killed.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, isn't it? I mean, not everybody is aware of that fact because they just kind of like she'll die, and they'll be like, "She was fine all along." And you're like, "What? I just saw her get crushed." And you're like, "No, she's right here. See, Ray, say hi." Hello.
I'm super emo.
Why does she speak 20 decibels softer than everyone else?
Yeah, I know. It's
Our
weird.
vocal cords didn't get cloned correctly.
There's so much weirdness in this show, but it was alright. Now the second context. Context for the show. This show was unbelievably popular, okay? It might still be
top 100 animes of all time.
Yeah,
like what?
Not just critically, not just critically, but financially. This movie made $243 million in theaters,
That blows my mind, dude.
Which is enormous. I don't know if you understand. Like in 1997, that's like wild. Unthinkable money for an anime movie. Okay, but the context is the original series was already very popular. Like it was steamrolling everything, and the director Hideaki Anno originally produced it when he was coming off of an extreme bout of like depression, right? Yeah, so the core of the show is basically it's about like depression, isolation, self-worth, stuff like that. Yeah. It's kind of cool, you know. You can get the symbolism, like the angels or like the problems of the world. You know, it's a story about like teenagers not understanding like maturity and adulthood, and all the adults are pressing all these like problems onto them. They're trying to figure it out. You know, fairly straightforted. People make it a lot more.
Mech, you know, it's like every day.
Yeah, my mom's a mech.
My mom's a mech. Same.
And I need to grow beyond her shadow or something. I don't know. The latent symbolism is there. Like there's a lot of Judeo-Christian occult symbolism just thrown at the wall.
When people die, they just become crosses. Like that's pretty normal.
Yeah,
that's
and
how
it's
it
like
works,
all
you know?
over, and people overinterpret that. It's just there because it's cool. Okay, there's a lot of that in the series.
Yeah, Japanese people aren't like. There's a very, very, very small number of Christians, so I doubt that would be some sort of like, oh, this is some deep hidden meaning about Christianity. Nah, I think it's just because like.
I mean, there's a meaning
it was
there,
interesting.
But it's like like you said, it's like skin deep. It's just like this is kind of cool.
Or goop deep. Now you don't have skin anymore.
Koolaid.
Yeah.
So the original run of the show is 2 core or like 24 episodes, and it was like super. There's so much momentum in this show. Like the fan following was ravenous. Okay. And to come episode 23, 24, when they're about to conclude the series, there was a series of sarin gas attacks in Japan by this like terrorist group.
Yeah,
do you remember
by
that?
The terrorist group. Yeah.
And what happened was they were a group of like Christian fanatics that prophesized the end of the world, and they were using a lot of Judeo-Christian like occult symbolism. And then they were about to close the series, and Gainax was like, "Oh shit."
Oh, that's bad.
Guys, I think we need to back off a little bit here. So a lot of, as far as I'm aware, and I'm here, like, this is all like a lot of conjecture pieced together from like interviews and like little bits and pieces that have leaked out. But they had basically the climax and ending of the show, episodes 24 and 25 or whatever, finished, or mostly finished. And they threw it all out. They threw it all out because it was too similar to the real life events that had happened in Tokyo.
Oh yikes! That's scary, man.
And that now explains it. And now they were like weeks or months behind schedule. They had already burned through a lot of their budget, and they had to close out the series. So you got, instead of whatever it was originally was, they threw together this weird like. Metaphysical, like very, very cheap final 2 episodes. That was all.
Oh my god!
It was all. Like there was no. Like it's just like all pictures, like disconnected images, dialogue, and dialogue written and flashing across the screen. It's all about. Yeah. It was just like kind of it closed the main thematic thrust, but none of like the narrative stuff. Okay, it closed like the thematic stuff. Like it was about him coming to terms with his own self-worth, basically, and being okay with himself and learning to accept himself as an individual, and no longer relying on like not necessarily having to rely on everyone else for his validation, and being okay with it was the coming of age, figuring out himself. It was very optimistic. And very famously, it ends with like this big reveal, and it's him standing at the center, and like the full cast around him, like giving him applause, and, like congratulations.
Yeah, it was so late.
It was like like a meme.
I think I saw that. I saw that, and I was like, "What is this garbage?"
It's garbage.
Okay, and that's how they ended the show. That was it. Yeah. Like nothing wrapped up. None of the plot points wrapped up, right? Yeah. But they were like, we have no money. We had to throw out all of our animation.
Dude, that explains it, because it reminds me of Lost. It's the ending of Lost.
It's Lost. It was only just a dream.
But they threw it all out, and then the fan reaction was horrendous. Okay. People literally sent death threats. They threatened to kill him, the director, Anno. They threatened to burn down the studio.
Oh god!
Like they were like frothing at the mouth. Right?
Okay, I think that's kind of overreacting, dude. It's just an anime. Calm down, people.
Like the hatred.
This is their life.
Yeah.
Like it was incredible.
This is why he's still emo,
They scraped together a couple bucks, and they did. A first attempt at ending the series in like a movie, which was called Evangelion Death and Rebirth.
Okay.
It's called Death and Rebirth, and it made things worse because the first half of it, Death is the first half, and Rebirth was supposed to be the second half. The first half was basically a re-edited footage from the series. It was basically a recap episode that was like 45 minutes long, right?
Okay.
On the second half, they ran out of money again. So it was like a half attempt at a movie. And then people were even more angry. They're like,
I remember.
What is this? And then, like, Anno was like spiraling back into depression. The studio is in shambles. Everyone is angry. And then they get, through the sales of that movie and through some more funding, I don't know the whole story behind it, they got more money back. And with it, they made End of Evangelion. Now, End of Evangelion, like, you can read this as a giant fuck you to all of the fans, okay? Because Shinji Shinji is the audience insert, right? He's the protagonist. He's the audience insert.
Yeah.
And he's not a good person in this movie.
And he's a useless person.
Yeah.
He is not a good person. And he jerks off over like Asuka. There's all sorts of criticism, like narratively, on him through the movie. Like there's this whole section on like male gaze, right? Where all the females in his life are just talking shit to him, right?
Yeah.
And it's like from his perspective, and like it's all just cutaways of their boobs, and their butts, and that's just Ano criticizing all like the ravenous, like horny nerds that were sending him death threats. And some of the flashes, some of the inserts, by the way, of the text are the actual death threats he got sent.
Wait, that's so funny, dude.
Oh, it's too real now.
If you remember, like the giant, like like it might be for a few frames, right? But you see like a real letter, like in Japanese.
You see like a wall of text.
Yeah, a bunch of those are real death threats that he got sent.
Holy cow! Okay.
And then like
I like this guy's style.
Yeah. He's just like standing on top of his achievement with both middle fingers up. And it like the movie goes through like the whole audience wish list, right? It closes all the plot threads. It shows you the culmination of all the relationships between like Shinji, Asuka, Shinji, Rei. It shows you Asuka kicking butt. Like she's like through the whole series, it's implied that she's a really good pilot. She shows it a couple times, but you never really get like that moment, right?
Yeah.
And then you get into this one, but then she gets like speared through the eye.
She just murders everyone.
Yeah, she murders everyone.
And
then gets like obliterated. And then like, oh my god. So it's kind of at once it ends the series with everything that people wanted, but perverted and made worse. It's like a Last Jedi. It's like the Last Jedi of the series, right?
You mean the best movie ever made?
Yeah. Everybody loved this one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why people hated The Last Jedi.
Exactly.
Yeah, why would they ever?
Why would they ever? Yeah. Cinematic masterpiece.
So, yeah, this movie, I mean, it's not a complete fuck you, right? It still accomplishes quite a bit. There's a lot going on. But like
maybe only half a you, you know?
But like it's definitely there. That's a lot of the subtext of this movie. And pretty obviously because he cut in the death threats he cut into the film.
Yeah.
like Shinji had a character as a character. If you don't like I said, the original end of the series is him coming to terms with himself and accepting himself and becoming upright. Like I can do this. I can become my own person, right? Yeah. And then in the movie, he's the opposite of that, right?
Just useless.
He's just like useless and unsure, and then ends like trying to kill his main love interest because he's so worthless he doesn't deserve anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's dark.
Yeah, it's super bleak. So
why did people like this movie again?
I mean, because I don't know if everybody reads it with this subtext, right? If you close your eyes and just watch it as like a giant mecha action flick, it's it's passable. You know, like when you like as you initially watched it, it's like it's kind of like a mediocre giant robot movie with a lot of weird symbolism in there that you might not get if that's the way you read it.
The only scene that got me hyped was when Asuka is just like flying around killing everyone, but that's
when
about
she was
it.
Wrecking house.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I can see why, like, critically, when I was looking at the Wikipedia, it was like, oh, this movie was well received compared to, like, the other movies and parts of the anime. And I was like,
my god.
Why? I was so confused. I was like, why do people like this one particularly more than the others?
Because the last two attempts were just recut footage and like still frame inserts because they had like $5 left.
They couldn't animate anything.
And I mean, so with that context, the fact that after they finally got a budget, they used it as a giant cinematic fuck you to the fans. Does that change your opinion of the movie?
Do I think that makes it a better movie? No. No.
Okay to be honest.
No, I don't think so. Because like the message still stands, you know, all of the symbolism, whatever. It's like, even with this context, I'm like, the message is really dark, dude. Like, I don't think that that's a hopeful message at all.
Oh, it's definitely not.
That's not a hopeful message at all.
I don't know. I can go for some Koolaid.
Dude lives his life thinking he's worthless, and is worthless and useless through the entire movie until the end, where he's like kind of not so useless, but then he's still useless in the end.
Well, the final scene, you're supposed to be led to believe that he has the ability to restart humanity right there.
Yeah.
But with the rest of the context, because they're all there, like, right? They're just Koolaid.
They said that if they have will to bring themselves back, then they can. So people with enough will and willpower to think themselves back into being, they can essentially be once again.
Yeah, but how does Shinji figure into this? Because he's useless.
Exactly.
Why he's controlling all the Koolaid?
No, I mean, I think he still technically has the keys to the car at that point, I think.
Okay. Anyways, continue.
But I mean, it's just like, given the rest of the context of the movie, you're like, well, I don't know if that's something that's gonna happen.
My interpretation was Shinji is gonna do whatever the hell Shinji does, you know, be useless, sit in a corner on his stupid ass, and then everyone else will will themselves into being those that really want to exist. Yeah. That was the hopeful outlook for me.
The penguin will come back.
Was the penguin even in this movie?
I don't think so.
I'm hoping he is.
No, he's.
Okay.
I'm almost sure that he's not.
So.
Oh man, they took the best part of the anime out.
He's only there like, I don't know, less than 2 minutes total screen time.
Doesn't he drink beer too? It's a beer drinking penguin.
Wait, that's amazing.
Right? I think he might.
Yeah, is he right?
He's like the mascot of the show, right?
Yeah.
His guardian Misato has a hot springs penguin that lives with her, and he's just kind of there, and his name is Pen Pen. And every once in a while, he'll just show up, amble around, drink a beer, and hop into a hot spring.
Yeah.
Like, what is the point of this character?
It also symbolizes a penis as well. I'm just kidding.
Oh, there's so many penises and vaginas, Sam. You don't even understand.
Yeah, there's so many, dude.
Like the climax of the film with Giant Ray and the lance of Longinus comes down and pierces the giant eye vagina in her forehead. And you're like, I wonder what this means.
And then her hand vaginas on the sides. I was like, what the?
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it. Symbolism, birth of humanity, new beginnings, right?
Yeah, I mean...
But why? But why?
I would have loved to have been able to see this in theaters and just been like, it's about sex. You get it?
But yeah,
it's so over the top. It's very overwrought.
Yeah, I've seen the series Isaiah and most of the movies that I can remember, and I was not a fan. I was not a fan. I thought I cannot fight the fact that it is very influential. It is still, I would say, top 10 on a lot of like anime lists, you know.
Wow.
It's still strong,
wow.
right? Yeah, it is. It is. Like,
yeah.
Like when I was in college, it was all about Evangelion still, like to that day, you know, and beyond, you know.
Oh, it's still a very powerful property.
Yeah,
in fact,
they're
really?
They've released kind of a remake of it.
Were there more movies that followed End of Evangelion?
Like there's like 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0.
That's where they come out? 4.0. They come out after?
They come out after. They're sort of a remake / alternate reality type thing.
Okay, is Shinji still useless dick in there?
A little bit less so.
Okay, that's
I mean,
better.
he's a lot less useless in the show, I would say.
Why did they make him so useless in this movie, then?
Because he's the audience insert, and it's Anno saying, like, you guys are useless bastards. Your obsession is ridiculous.
That makes sense.
Your sexualization of my characters is disgusting. And your treatment of yourselves is the worst. That's the best. That's the subtext, right?
Yeah.
Humanity can't be saved with you.
Like, you are the next generation, and it leaves me with very little hope. That's Anno. That's Anno's message in this film.
Got him.
But yeah, I felt like I always say this for movies too, like, I don't care about the deeper meaning unless it's built on a very solid narrative that's either logically sound, it follows its own logic. It doesn't have to follow like real logic, just its own logic, or it's very interesting or cool. And unfortunately, Evangelion has neither for me. Like,
checks neither of those boxes.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty close to Annihilation in that they focus on these thematic thrusts more than the narrative and character building, because it's heavily on like symbolism and a deeper meaning, and it's you know in those regards pretty well made. But like, I just didn't care about the world, and I love giant robots. Like
the first half of the series is a pretty straightforward mecha anime.
It is.
And then the second half, they start going off the rails a little bit.
It turns into Lost, but like, yeah, it turns into Lost. I'm sorry, the ending of the series is just Lost.
They just lost their way.
They lost it. They lost their way. It turned into Lost. You know, like, but yeah.
I'll say that I for one loved this series. I actually own the DVDs. They're somewhere.
Wow. Okay.
Of all of the stuff.
Okay.
Wow. But I will say, first and foremost, as a series, it's both better and worse than people think it is. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people insist that this is like the pinnacle of anime, and it really is not. Other people will insist that it's like the worst garbage ever produced.
No, it's not worse
without
garbage.
Value.
Come on.
Come on. I think there's worse, but yeah.
And
really?
It's just like, yeah. I mean, I loved it because like when you're like an angsty hormonal like 14 or 15-year-old, this anime speaks to you on a deep level, man. On a deep level. You're like, oh, it's full of so many things that I understand vaguely.
Boobs and...
there's like boobs and vaginas. It's incredible. Yeah, I mean, people read too much into the wrong things and not enough into other things. You know, a lot of people spend so much time on the Judeo-Christian like symbolism, and it's really just don't do that. Don't do that. There's not a lot there. There's really not a lot there.
It's just cool factor.
I mean, you can spend a little time on it. There's like lots of little cool tidbits that they hide in there, like on the monolith panel thing. You know, the Illuminati guys talking through the monoliths. That guy is technically supposed to be, I think, the Wandering Jew. And then there's like just tons of like the Tree of Life and like the Seraphim.
What are the monolith people supposed to be?
They're supposed to be the Illuminati. They were supposed to be the
control society.
Yeah, they control like all these different organizations, including.
Are they goop or no?
They get gooped at the end.
Okay, no.
So
what if they were goop already?
Are the other Evas like piloted by people or no? Or what are those things?
The white ones? No,
yeah, the white shark-looking things.
They're luscious red lips.
That's funny.
Then they take all of their spears and penetrate themselves and their collective vaginas.
Yep.
Oh my god, this show is so fucking weird.
Yeah.
They're unpiloted. They're like controlled by like the Illuminati guys, theoretically.
They need someone to groupify in there and then send their children in, and that's what they need to do. Come on, get with the program.
there's lots of stuff about like restarting humanity and like shadowy government organizations and all this other wonderful weird crap that I could spend a lot of time explaining, but it doesn't. In the end, it's not really important to the main idea of the show. You know, coming of age, self-worth, you know, validation, juxtaposed against this undertone, this subtext of the director having like absolute loathing for his fan base by the end of the movie. Like a deep-seated hatred.
That's just truly unfortunate, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should do Razufone next, because that's a discount Evangelion.
No, that's... I watched so much anime, and I remember very few of them, because they were just passable.
I watched One Punch Man Season 2.
How was that?
I'm disappointed.
Well, because they changed animation studios, and it's not this incredibly fluid work of animation anymore.
Is
that
and
why?
Also, narratively, it's just so much weaker. Like, I don't like the way that they structured the storyline for Season 2. Season 1 was, like, short stories, like little pockets of him being like, I'm going to go beat up this one person. And then the boss battle lasts 3 episodes. In this episode, the boss is introduced in, like, episode 2, I think, and they drag out, or, like, don't even fight. Like, they don't even fight. They don't even fight.
That sounds kind of like Dragon
season.
Ball Z. 20 episodes to charge up the spirit bomb.
And I was like, oh my god, I hate this. And then they spend, like, 6 episodes with him going to a fighting tournament, and we don't get to see him fight until, like, 3 episodes in. And I was like, oh my god, I'm going to shoot someone. I just want to see him fight someone. Like, this storyline is so illogical. I just want things to happen in 1 episode like they should, instead of spread out over 6 episodes.
That's because there's a huge story arc that still doesn't end. They still continue.
No. That's not even the reason. Sam. The reason the arcs are structured right like this is because the original writer is making fun of everyone, including the reader. Okay? It's literally, I mean, it's a straight satire of Dragon Ball Z, right?
Yeah.
Everything. It's a satire of Dragon Ball Z and Superman in roughly equal parts, and everything is structured in such a way that it's making fun of you for wanting to see him fight the big bad guy, right? Because you know how he's just gonna punch him and he's gonna die. That's the point. That's what's gonna happen, and he's making fun of you because it's like, this is what's gonna happen. What are you expecting? I'm not gonna write a story about that. I'm gonna spend all my time.
It's like I don't understand why.
It's in the title. He's just gonna punch him.
I'm gonna waste your time.
Yeah, exactly. He's just kind of like stringing you along. The reason it kind of works and is charming is that all the characters around Saitama are really fun. Like Speed of Sound Sonic and like Licenseless Rider and Pretty Prisoner.
Oh my god, dude, he's so stupid.
They're all stupid. That's the point. It's
I just imagine the part where it's like,
or Genos.
My ultimate transformation, and he just gets naked.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god.
Or like he learns how to dig by vibrating his muscles, and like when he just powers up, it's just him doing stuff with his muscles. But I will say though, like if you're frustrated, I think the manga format works better because it goes way faster.
Yeah, and Murata's
so I'm good.
The artist is actually amazing in that series. I think he might be the best manga artist alive.
I think he's the artist makes me laugh because it's like, why did you name your character Saitama? Because I live in Saitama, so that's what I named my main character.
Well, so it was originally written by this guy named One. That's his online alias. And you should look at. I invite you to look at the original webcomic for it.
Yep.
Just spend a minute looking over it. It's so shitty. It is so shitty.
Saitama, right?
It's like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, like a 5-year-old scribbled it onto like crappy sketchbook paper.
Oh my god.
That's the level of artwork. And then this guy Murata found it. I don't remember what the original deal was, but he's like, bro, your story's amazing, but your art sucks. Let me take care of this.
He's like, you figure out the story, I'll do the art.
Yeah, it looks amazing now.
Oh, it looks so amazing, but the best part of it is he does art callbacks to all the original drawings, which is why occasionally Saitama looks like dumpster tier art.
Yeah,
that's how he was drawn.
Egghead.
Yeah, that's how he was drawn in the original webcomic. Just somebody with no concept of. It's so funny. Oh my god.
And then, like, when he's about to go fight someone, his eyebrows turn and he gets, like, super serious and his face becomes chiseled.
You're like, he's drawn seriously now, run away.
It's gonna punch you.
Do you want spoilers or no? Because there was something really funny.
For what?
For season 2.
Oh, I'm caught up with the manga.
Or maybe you guys have already read past it. But it's probably different, though, right?
No, the series is basically a one-to-one reproduction.
Oh, okay.
You won't spoil it, but you can spoil it for the audience, so, just tell them to skip ahead a few minutes, but yeah.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. So, the big boss battle that he's, like, hyping up for, it's this guy who wants to become a monster. And then Saitama runs into him like 2 separate times, and every time he just beats his ass.
By accident,
he's just, like,
right?
By accident. And he's man, I can't wait until I find this hunter character so I can actually fight him. It's like, maybe then I will have a good fight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he catches him, like, dining and dashing. He just catches him and, like, punches him. Slaps him in the head. He's like,
and then, like, he gets knocked out, right? Just wakes up. It's like, what was that?
Saitama's on the way to go buy a wig, and the guy just, like, chops him in the shoulder, and Saitama doesn't move, and just chops him back into the ground. And he wakes up the next morning on, like, a pile of garbage. He's like, man, what happened? I don't remember. I just blacked out.
Yeah, I think, though, it's turning a little too much into Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it's like, I just want fights to be over in like 2 minutes. No build up, just he punches someone, it's the end of the fight. Like, that to me is so funny.
Oh man, there's some of that coming up, I think, but like,
I'm disappointed, man. And then I'll have to wait another 2 years for season 2 or season 3. Disappointing.
Turn into a reeb. Read the manga.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
That's where it starts.
You're in Japan. You can go get it. You just run over to Akiba, dude. It's probably like it has to be no more than a 30-minute train ride from wherever you are.
I'll say though, like, if you want like a more, as I was mentioning this to Barry, if you want like a more grounded anime that deals with like depression, Welcome to the NHK is a pretty decent one. It's more.
There's still like some surrealism in there.
Yeah. I would say it's just more like it's a more palatable approach. I would say, like this one is pretty heavy. I would actually relate it to an animation. But like,
what's that one anime where people have orgasms because of food, and then
Shokugeki no Soma?
Someone makes food.
a little bit of translation because I think I've seen like 5 minutes of that show. I'm like, what is going on here? Okay.
Cool story. The animation studio that did that or does that show is the same one that did season 2 of One Punch Man. Wow. You can see a lot of the same animation problems, which is like a lot of budget stuff, like using a lot of panning shots over still frames.
Yeah.
Just a lot of static shots.
I love when Geno's monologues for like 2 minutes and it's just panning between shots of random still frames of like plants and buildings. I was like, wow, they saved so much money there.
Yeah,
think of all the budget they saved right there, guys. Yeah. My God.
If you break it down scene by scene, anime, I can understand because it's really expensive to animate. It's a person has to make it. Yes, a person has to draw each frame. Just think about
it. It's expensive, and animators are underpaid. They're paid nothing for what they produce.
Which is terrifying.
And because it's Japan, they probably work them to death.
Yeah. They literally work. A lot of them die on the job, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's so bad.
The washout rate is huge.
Yeah.
I think there's very, very few studios that pull off really high quality animation. Like Kyoto Animation is probably the one that sticks out the most. Madhouse generally does pretty good. Generally moe crap, cute stuff. Like they did K-On!, they did Suzumiya Haruhi.
Oh, I like that show.
Yeah, it was a good show. But that art style is basically all their stuff. Hibike, Euphonium.
I don't know that one.
I think probably their best work is Hyoka because it's very small, self-contained, and very focused, and it looks beautiful.
Hyoka, all right, I'll look that up.
I knew none of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, I was thinking about this, and I figured because you know how like digital filming is on par with film now. Like you can have the same. Some person went through a painstaking process to make digital film, the filming process, feel exactly like film, and they wouldn't use it for Star Wars because they're like, no, we're shooting it on real film. I was thinking about this, and the next step in animation would be to use kind of like 3D modeling and like animate.
Sam, we're gonna stop you right there.
Sam,
no, not like
there
not
have
3D.
been there have been attempts. I know exactly what you're referring to. Not just 3D modeling, but like a cell shaded facsimile.
Yeah, and like like
people
what you
are
about?
Yeah, people are working on it, and it still looks like garbage. They sneak it into shows every once in a while. Like the most recent one was probably Zombie Saga. It's about an idol group of zombies, and it's as dumb as it sounds.
Wait, I'm actually interested though.
Don't be. That's the
but
entire. That's the whole show.
Idols, but like, how does that work? Do they eat people? Like,
I mean, they're cute zombie girls that don't think about it too deeply.
Zombie girls.
They didn't.
How are they cute if they're like decaying?
Don't think about it too deeply, because they didn't. Okay, but like. Motion and dancing, stuff like that, is really difficult to animate. It's expensive. So every scene, every like animated like dance number they did was just like 3D models. They used like Poser or something.
Did it look like 2D animation?
Or was it closer than they've gotten before.
Okay. Because I'm thinking if someone could master that technique, you would save so much money, and like animators would have like a lot of the workload off, their shoulders.
Yeah, they're not quite there yet. Okay, and by not quite, I mean they're like
really far.
Yeah, they have a couple marathons left to run.
Interesting. I wonder if there are people who are opposed to that, kind of like they were opposed to the electric car, a while back.
I mean, the entire community is against it at the moment because it all looks like hot garbage.
I don't mean like use it right now, but like develop the techniques similar to how
you have to use it to develop it, which is why Star Wars, the original the prequel trilogy looks so garbage because it was one of the very first movies to use completely digital filming.
Okay.
And they were really limited by what those cameras could do.
They were garbage to begin with. Let's be real.
I mean. The story would not have been helped very much by better filming technique. But
the dialogue and
the dialogue,
B camera.
The dialogue is stuff of legends now.
Yeah.
But it was one of the very first films to pioneer digital filming. So you have George Lucas to thank for that.
Well, I mean, he is a pretty legendary director, all things considered.
Yeah. He did. He's done a lot for filmmaking in general. Yeah. It's a pity that
what else has George Lucas made besides Star Wars?
Indiana Jones.
He was Indiana Jones, wasn't that?
Yeah, he was an I think he was executive producer on Indiana Jones. Yeah, no, Spielberg was the director.
Spielberg was the director. Yeah.
He has his hands on a lot of things.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know him for a lot of director credits besides Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a writing credit on Last Crusade. George Lucas.
Really?
Yeah, and
wow,
he did.
That was a really good movie.
I mean, once upon a time, he was a very competent director and writer.
Graffiti.
Man, how far they fall.
Yeah.
How far they fall, man.
Yeah, my God.
Yeah, it's actually really good. Yeah.
Director credits, he doesn't have that many. Star Wars, obviously. Producer credits, he's probably got a lot more. But yeah,
that makes sense.
He's worked with Spielberg a lot, which is why he was involved
him and
with
Spielberg are good friends, right?
Yeah, it's why Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was a giant piece of crap, because he had a lot of creative input on that movie.
Unfortunate.
I was like, that explains it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he was better off paired with someone. If you give him full control, it's like not good news.
You need people to tell him no.
Yeah, you need people to tell him no, because he has good ideas, but like there's a lot of bad in it too.
Yeah.
Just gotta scoop the bad out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if he paired with a really good writer for Star Wars, then the prequels could have been so much better.
Like Rian Johnson?
No. Do you know he made a new movie? Knives Out?
What?
There's a new movie by Rian Johnson called Knives Out.
Interesting.
Knives Out.
Yeah, if you want to check it, check the trailer. It actually looks kind of interesting as Chris Evans and Daniel Craig. And also Joy from Blade Runner 2049 is in it.
Ana de Armas? Okay.
Yeah. But you already know that's going to be a movie about
knives?
Yes, there's knives. It's a murder mystery. It's like a whodunit movie, right?
Clue.
And you already know that he's gonna be like, haha, I'm gonna subvert your expectations.
The chandelier. If it's Daniel Craig, I hope he goes full Bond and kills everyone.
He's actually a nerd in this one.
I like Daniel Craig.
When's the next Bond film coming out?
Forget Bond film. I want to see the sequel to Cowboys and Aliens, dude.
What?
Daniel Craig's best performance.
Oh my god, that's
Oscar.
Isn't that a movie old now?
I saw that movie in theaters, by the way, and it was amazing.
Are you serious?
Fantastic.
What a good movie.
Doubt. Press X for doubt, dude.
You know our
dude,
next
it's Daniel
podcast.
Craig, Harrison Ford, Olivia Wilde, and Jon Favreau.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I
was actually kind of hyped for that movie. It looks like it's so bad, it's so good movie. You know, one of those.
It's like, oh man, I can in no way recommend this movie to anyone, but I enjoyed it very much. If you think about like the groups of people that you can recommend a film to, like, hey, maybe these guys like westerns, I'll recommend it to them, or these guys like sci-fi, I'll recommend it to them, or these guys like, some weird shit. I don't know. I can recommend. And you think all the different like Venn diagrams of people that you can recommend a film to. I can't think of anyone I can recommend this film.
What about like bad movies?
But I still liked it.
Okay.
It wasn't even terrible. It's just so strange. Like they play this premise 100% straight, okay? There is no winking at the camera. There's no meta humor. They play it 100% straight, okay?
Nah, dude. Nah.
So everyone's serious.
I don't see how that pans out.
I mean, there's jokes and stuff, but it's not like a nudge, wink, wink joke, It's just like funny in context. But it's played 100% straight.
God. You have piqued my curiosity.
It's like, hey, aliens have landed in the Wild West. Weird shit is happening. We're gonna roll straight through with it. There's gonna be no meta humor whatsoever.
I kind of want to do a podcast on this instead of Spider-Man.
No.
I'm kidding.
I can't recommend the film to you, Sam. I just said that.
But I want to watch it, though. Everything you're telling me is making me want to watch it.
All I can say is I liked it. Okay.
You have piqued my curiosity. It's kind of like giving me the same vibes as the first Men in Black. Which I also enjoyed.
That one, Sam. I don't know.
It wasn't good, but I liked it.
There's weird shit happening in this movie, guys. I mean, do you want my quick and dirty review of this movie?
No, we're gonna do a podcast on it. Let's save it for later. Let's go deep.
Okay, we'll go deep.
Spider-Man, I mean.
We'll go deep on Cowboys versus Aliens.
Why not? We gotta spread these films that don't get attention, right?
I mean, I think this film rightfully did not get very much attention.
I think we want to spread awareness for good films that did not get attention. Keyword, good.
Sometimes you gotta give them bad.
Like Hot Rod, Sam.
Hot Rod?
Best movie ever.
Okay, we gotta do one on Hot Rod and like.
Have you seen Hot Rod?
No, I have not seen it.
Have you seen?
I've not seen Hot Rod.
Okay, you guys need to see Hot Rod. I think that's one of the best so stupid it's good movies.
I'm down for that, yeah.
And that, to me, elevates Andy Samberg to a whole nother level. Like, The Lonely Island was one thing, but Hot Rod was another level.
What about Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Yeah, that's what really put him to legend status for me.
Okay.
And also, Napoleon Dynamite. I think that falls under the same category.
I actually think that film had a lot of merit if Uncle Rico died. His character arc.
We've talked about this so many times.
He's a classic archetype of like the tragic hero, and like if he had died with the trying to sell breast enhancements to the Rex Kwon Do dude's wife, and like he just kills him by using Rex Kwon Do, like it would have been funny with the movie, but like also fit like that kind of archetype. You know, he can't get past his past self,
and so he dies.
And so he dies when he's actually good at something other than playing football, which is like selling stuff. Yeah. Death of a Salesman, you know?
Yeah, I've seen it, Sam. Death of a Salesman, this movie was not.
Anyway, that's my take on it, you know? Like, for me, Uncle Rico is my favorite character.
My favorite character is Rico from Starship Troopers.
Oh, okay. Nah, that's the different Uncle Rico. But yeah, I just wanted to mention the 3 trailers I saw for Spider-Man. Let me know if you guys remembered that. This will be a bit of a preview for a Spider-Man podcast. But like, the one was Blinded by the Light. Have you seen that one or no?
I didn't watch anything leading up to Spider-Man because if I'm excited about a movie, I purposely try to avoid all content related to that movie.
Oh no, it's just trailers.
No, even trailers, especially trailers. Okay. Yeah.
All right, Blinded by the Light's like this immigrant family where he finds Bruce Springsteen and like how his songs relate to him. He wants to be a writer. Kind of interesting, I guess. And then Charlie's Angels, the reboot.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then Once Upon a Time.
The reboot?
Yeah, the reboot. As Patrick Stewart in it. Guy's still alive. Awesome. Sir Patrick Stewart. The guy's a legend.
He's reprising his role as Jean-Luc Picard in an upcoming Star Trek.
Dude. He hates being called Picard, but anyways, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so excited for that film.
But like these 3 movies are so like the reason why I watch the trailers is I kind of like to see where the marketing people are going with this, and kind of like, all right, we have this target demographic coming to watch Spider-Man. And they're going to show you trailers that you're likely to be interested in, right? So I was looking at these 3, and they're so different. Like, I don't know what they're thinking.
Well, Quentin Tarantino, you could do a trailer of a poo on a plate, and people would go to see that movie.
Yep, I know.
Just because it's Tarantino.
Because it's Tarantino.
Okay, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood made sense, but Charlie's Angels with the same block as Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
They're selling you sex, dude. They're just selling you sex.
So I guess Spider-Man fans are huge fans of sex, finding yourselves,
everyone loves boobies,
and Tarantino, which sounds an awful lot like Evangelion. Yeah, it's Evangelion wrapped into 3 trailers. That's boobs, Quentin Tarantino, and Finding Yourself, which is related to boobs for some reason. So I guess if you want to find yourself. Related. Yeah, you have to find boobs to find yourself, I guess. I don't know. That's what I'm hearing right now.
Maybe in the process of finding yourself.
Okay. In the process of finding yourself, you gotta find some boobs.
Get it? It's a joke about masturbating! I'm glad I could throw that one out for you guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I feel enlightened now. It's become a masterpiece. 10 out of 9.
What are you guys' thoughts on Tarantino?
Tarantino films are ones that you might not watch on a first viewing, but every single time you watch it, like if you can watch a film at different points in your life, and you will understand more and more about it, which I think is kind of a hallmark of a master filmmaker, right?
Yeah.
And every single one of his films does that. Because there's so much subject.
What was it? Super 8? The Hateful Eight? The Hateful Eight?
Oh, I have not seen that one yet.
I think so.
I was not a fan.
Rewatched it.
I was not that big of a fan of the Hateful Eight. My favorites are Inglourious Bastards and Django.
What about Kill Bill?
I'm not as big of a fan, honestly. Like, I like them a lot, but not compared to Inglourious Bastards and Django. Because I watch Inglourious Bastards and Django at least once a year, and I've been doing that for like the last 5-6 years now, I think.
Dang, bro.
Okay.
Or maybe not for Django, because Django came out 2016? Did it come out a lot later than that?
Oh.
Something like that.
Wait, this podcast is just turning into a regular podcast.
Yeah, we're running a little bit long here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think all of his films are so well made, and every single one of them is like a love letter to filmmaking in general, which you can really
they're beautiful.
appreciate.
Oh, 2013.
I think the genius of Tarantino is, like, even if you don't dig deep, it's a very entertaining film. Like, I watched most of his movies, and even if you don't want to take away anything from it, it's just genuinely
just
a
entertaining.
fun movie. Yeah, it's just entertaining.
Yeah. Just entertaining. But if you dig deep, there's so much more to them.
There's a lot.
That's the hallmark. That's what I like. You gotta trick the audience into thinking,
especially
or
like
something.
Like Django, dude. There's so many levels to that film. Talking about like the problems with slavery. It's like, man.
If you just do it as a film study,
completely lighthearted. Yeah.
There's so many cinematic callbacks in every single one of his movies. It's like it makes your eyes spin. Right?
Yeah.
Like half the shots in his films are homages to other films, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just the pop culture references, and it's a good time.
Yeah. I think we should cut off right there before we run.
Before we go, let's have you two rate End of Evangelion with our Suicide Squad scale. I did not watch it, so I'm gonna watch it later and rate it. But Barry.
5.
Oh, Isaiah, you gonna give it 5? All right.
5.
All right.
Yes.
That is our
without
second
context
score.
Without context, 3. With context, 5.
Okay. Let me write that down. Wait, you had no context, so I'm just marking it as a 3. I'll just write 5 with context.
No, I give it a 5. Yeah.
Okay. 3 without context. That is our second lowest score, by the way. The lowest being Suicide Squad.
I think
does that mean we have to review some real stinkers now?
No.
Yeah,
I think we have to.
I think this movie carries very little value if you don't understand.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of movies like that.
Yeah.
Personally.
When I was watching it, I was like, man, this is how people watching Marvel movies who've like not seen any other Marvel movies must feel.
Can you imagine somebody walking into Endgame having not seen a single other look at here's the movie, everybody's going to see this movie, I wonder what it's about.
Most popular movie of the year. It's like, why the fuck did they kill that purple guy?
Purple guy.
What's the problem with purple dude?
Yeah,
he's just farming and they cut his head off. What?
Farmer Thanos just wanted to live his farming life.
All right, Barry, what would you give it?
I'd probably give it a 6.
6? Oh, okay, still very low. It's your lowest score that you gave out.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the series and the film, but I'm still like I can objectively still say it's probably like a 6. You know?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna give it a 5 because going off of the series and the rest of the movies, like. You just gotta trick the audience, bro. You need a narrative there. Like you need world building there. It has to be there. Well, what's the point of watching?
Oh, it's there, but it's both smarter and dumber than everyone wants it to be.
Yeah. So, man, like, I wouldn't want to live in that world. I don't want to be Goop. Are you kidding me?
Oh, you don't want to be Koolaid?
I don't want to be Kool-Aid.
Live the dream.
Kool-Aid.
You don't want to simultaneously have the same mind and think the same thoughts as every person in the world?
No. That sounds like...
To become one? Humanity as one? The one with the Kool-Aid people.
Yeah, one with the Kool-Aid? I don't know. I think I'm okay.
I think this is a movie you can easily recommend to people that liked the anime.
Pretty much, yeah.
But that's basically
it, right?
That's basically it. If you have not seen the anime, check out the anime, I guess.
Bro,
and if that floats your boat, check out the movie. But
that must mean that they were people who like followed their anime friends to watch this movie, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
I can imagine that.
I guess it could have some value if you're just doing like a running monologue, explaining like a running expository monologue.
But it has to be the entire film.
Yeah. They're like, this is a reference back to episode 3 when they talked about this. Like, what? Why is there a vagina there?
It's a symbolism for the birth of humanity.
All right. We'll call it an end there. Closing thoughts on end of Evangelion, and then we'll do our sign off, and then we'll come back on Sunday for our Spider-Man Far From Home episode. All right.
Yeah, recommended to fans of the anime. I personally loved the anime and the movies, but easily it's nearly valueless if you don't have the context. I also appreciate the fact. Yeah, I also appreciate that it's a big cinematic, like, F you. that's a ballsy move. That's a ballsy move, Ano.
All right.
My thoughts?
Yeah, your thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think having no context, this movie has almost no value. Like, I could just sit there and be like, oh, pretty colors. But that's about it. Like, I get that there's a lot of symbolism that was hinted at, and there is so much more and so much story that goes into it. But not having that background, not having that context, for me, took me out of the film. Like, yeah, it took me out of the film severely. To the point where I feel like I didn't get that much value out of watching it. But having some context now, it's like, oh, I get it, but...
You know you're a weeb now, right? You watched Evangelion.
It's like the weeb rite of passage.
Yeah.
But I did not like it.
Yeah, 50% of people hated it too.
It's like join the team.
You don't have to like it, you just have to watch it.
Yeah, half of weebdom hates the series as well. I don't know if they hate it ironically or as like a hipster thing, but like a lot of people hate it as well.
Alright, well, my thoughts are kind of similar. I just think it's thematic elements, symbolism, great, visually great, whatever, but missing on the narrative and like actual character development. There's some of that in the series, but it loses it halfway through. And I need that there as a strong foundation for everything else to go on top of. If you're missing that, it kind of, for me, I don't have fun with it. It's just like reading a paper or something. All right. Anyways, we'll end it there. This has been the Pointy Hatcast. This is our bonus content to go episode 2, or I guess you can call it episode 9.5. Let's call it 9.5, I guess. Easier to remember. Catch us next week on Sunday. It'll be out on Monday morning on our episode 10 on Spider-Man Far From Home. Alright, with that, we're out. Catch you guys next time.
Stay pointy, guys.
Stay pointy. All right.
Okay, round 3. This is Pointy Hat to Go.
Yes, third time's the
episode
charm.
9.5, July 12th, 2019. Audio sync in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Yeah, it can't be helped as he is 1 second off from us because he's in Japan.
I'm sorry, boys. My reaction times are just too slow.
Gosh darn speed of light.
No, I think it should help though. If I sync it, all three, it should work out.
It's better than
if I clap a full second earlier, then maybe it'll sync up.
No, that will mess it up.
No, don't.
That'd be hilarious.
You're replying a second later anyways to everything we're saying, so that it works out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The secret is Sam is always in the land of the weebs.
Right,
what?
So,
potato internet. I might as well be in Japan.